Thank you for joining us. The fourth wave of mobilization in Ukraine will continue near 2 months. The head of General Headquarters of Armed Forces of Ukraine, V.Muzhenko, reported about this. According to his words, mobilization is needed for rotation of ATO soldiers.
The necessity exists to provide the mobilization, partial mobilization, the fourth shift, with which goal? To lead the rotation for the staff, to increase the psychological stress among soldiers, and to increase the quality of processing.
V.Muzhenko also reported that on the borders there are near 50,000 Russian soldiers from Russian side, and in the ATO zone on Ukrainian territories there are 10,000 of them. President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, has appointed Alexander Turchinov as Secretary of National Security and Defense Council. Mr. Turchinov was introduced in the meeting of NSDC. According to President, today's Secretary of National Security and Defense Council has several main assignments: realization of peace plan in Donbass, reformation of army, and building of efficient system of financing of spendings for security.
The best possible candidate for this position is Mr. Turchinov. He is a person who totally in the top of the issue. And since today we have to begin the preparation to National Security and Defense Council meeting immediately. This meeting will be dedicated to budgeting in security and law enforcement areas. Even in this difficult situation, we have to find the challenges which will allow us to use every cent in the most effective way. We don't have any alternative how to win in this war. But for this we need mobilization of all our resources. We need the effective cooperation and coordination between all elements of Ukrainian defense area. National Security and Defense Council should become the center of making efficient and forceful decisions concerning every challenge, every problem which threatens our country.
The Central Bank of Russia had risen the key payment on 6 points to 17%. This is the second increase during the last week and sixth during the year. Usually this index changed within 0.5%. Today's index means the economy in the stage of crisis, the finance experts say. The key payment is the percent which is given to commercial banks by the central bank. It is possible that banks will not want to take credits and give money to people under such percent. The head of the central bank, Elvira Nabiulina, is assured that citizens will not suffer.
It is important to pay attention to the fact that increasing of key payment will lead to increasing of deposit payments in banks. It is more effective for citizens to keep money in rubles. 70% payment of the central bank is the stoppage of long-term crediting for business. It is economical crisis and GDP fall. This is a result of aggression and crazy foreign policy, which had led to sanctions.
On the eve, ruble lost a value relative to other world currencies during the yesterday bids. Russian currency has cracked a record of its falling since 1999 and had become the weakest currency in the world. Today at 12 a.m., ruble continued falling. Today the dollar costs 67 rubles and 1 euro costs 83 rubles. Because of the fall of ruble, Russia is not the top priority partner for Belarus in the custom union anymore. President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, demands from his government to find new markets for Belarusian goods immediately. He says that it is not profitable to sell them in Russia. For several months, ministers have to find the trade partners. If no, country will wait for devaluation, increase of industry, market crash and unemployment, Mr. Lukashenko says. The same situation is predicted by him for Kazakhstan, whose economy is also connected with Russian yuan.
We should not prey on Russian market, even if Russia is our fraternal country. You see how the market has fallen and we will go at these hills. Earlier we sell them under 85%, and today it is near 40–55%.
Switzerland had joined to restrictions of European Union which were provided against separatists on the east of Ukraine. In the list which was published of Federal Council of Switzerland, leaders of self-proclaimed unrecognized republic. During the illegal elections of 2nd of November, they supported the policy which undermines Ukrainian sovereignty and independence. And also they encouraged destabilization of the situation in Ukraine. There are also 5 companies in this list. Ukraine will perform the strategy of new reforms and the International Donor Conference. Prime Minister of Ukraine Arseniy Yatsenyuk said about this in Brussels. The date of the meeting of Ukraine and international partners will be known in the nearest future. Mr. Yatsenyuk claims that Kyiv had already provided a line of reforms. He also counts on new financial aid from international creditors.
The situation is extremely complicated. We lost 10% of our industrial output, minus 10%. We lost 20% of Ukrainian economy due to Russian aggression and due to annexation of Crimea and Russian-led terrorists that are deployed in the east of Ukraine. So we expect to have minus 7% of GDP growth. Ukrainian currency depreciated severely by about 100%. And despite all these facts, this government collected 5% more of taxes compared with the data of 2013. But it cannot last forever. We cannot do it and fix it only with the fiscal tools. So we need to get some kind of relief. My government passed 2 austerity packages. We fired 10% of public servants. We shut down a number of entitlement programs and social one. We imposed new taxes. So we did what's in our powers, and we will do everything that was promised and everything that is needed for the Ukrainian economy. But to overcome this period, Ukraine needs to get some kind of cushion. And this cushion is a new package of financial aid.
Today, 8 months had passed since the anti-terrorist operation in Donbass had begun. Then acting president of Ukraine, Alexander Turchinov, announced it. Volunteers, career persons and mobilized men fight against terrorists today. How had they got to the war and how the war had changed that people and why Ukraine still cannot win. Special report from the front line next.
This is Maidan. Then a son was brought, well, then also injuries, so I sick of it all. My heart soars while I couldn't stay at home. It's insulting for the state. I have already been 15 years in the army, but I never thought that I would fight. But it turned out this way. We thought that the Maidan is over, but it has not ended. It turned into a war. Before the war, I worked at the usual builder. Here I was called, got a call from the recruiting office, and I didn't hide. I went, and that's all. I have one problem. It should be my wedding. We just got married, and a pregnant wife is waiting for me. The first day when I came here on this position, several losers were once lost and one man died. There, if something happened to Russia a year ago, I would have gone to help the Russians. And now, sorry, now I will help them. They did so, brother went against brother. Well, we are there, we are at home, we are protecting our own. Turned to be till the end. We just can't see that there takes place, and we don't want the same in our homeland. We don't want that our children, their parents will see it, as their people see. A lot of people, especially those people who hold the highest positions but do not work in our favor. What I did not feel. Here are my subordinates, they will not permit me to lie. They went there, are shells. We can fight back. But we do not give the appreciation. And we sit and just wait as they beat us all. We can win this war, just a month. We could win it. We have it all. Just we don't have a team and a permission. I feel some relief. Here I'm in the right place, then even became more patient. That's why I was annoyed me before. Now I am not worried about it. A lot of things have changed. I began to respect and appreciate much more my family, and I found there new friends with whom I think, if everything finishes, I will meet. I swore an oath of allegiance to Ukrainian people, and I worked for the state, not for the Ukrainian people. When the war started, everything became another way. I was not working for the state, I worked for the Ukrainian people.
It was the United Country newscast by the First Ukraine. You can find more details at our website firstua.com. Victoria Zibian was working for you in the studio. We wish you only good news. Take care and goodbye.